Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And now back to reviewing. Since I reviewed the first Short Circuit, which I'd say is a classic, and I do enjoy the film. Now moving up to me reviewing of the sequel, Short Circuit 2, released in 1988, 2 years after the first film. And I gotta say, I really do enjoy Short Circuit 2. And in fact, I'd probably say I enjoy the film just slightly a bit more than the first film. But don't get me wrong, the first film is an enjoyable movie. I enjoy it as a classic growing up. But Short Circuit 2, I think I find the film just a bit more enjoyable because the fact of Johnny Five, he does a whole lot more, and you get more emotional stuff happening in the movie for Johnny Five. And Fisher Stevens also comes back as Ben, who's partnered with Steve Guttenberg in the movie, where he plays as the Indian character of Ben, but he's not though. But his character is much more developed in the sequel more than he did in the first film. And I got because it was much more. You had a little bit more drama and a little more more funny stuff. But again, more like emotional stuff happening in the movie especially with Johnny Five. And the film came out. It didn't make as much as the first film. The first film made about $40 million, and it made $21 million domestically. So it didn't do that well, sadly. And critics didn't like this film at all. It has a 30% Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 5.8 IMDb or something like that. But I think surprisingly, Siskel and Ebert gave this film 2 thumbs up, which Roger Ebert, surprisingly enough, he didn't care for the. Roger Ebert, he gave the first film 1.5 out of 4 stars. But surprisingly, he enjoyed this film more than the first film. In fact, he said this film was even better than the original, and he said that Wilson and Maddock, the writers, S.S. Wilson and Brent Maddock, have improved considerably here. Their construction is more deft, and their dialogue is better, and it makes Johnny Five come more alive. And I really do agree with that. It makes Johnny is much more alive in this film. He is. I do agree with that. I mean, Roger Ebert, rest in peace. There's a lot of things I disagree with what he says on certain films, but there are times I do agree with Roger Ebert. But Roger Ebert, rest in peace. But that's the thing. Even Top Notch Guy, we do disagree with. In the film, John Badham didn't come back to direct the sequel. It's directed by Kenneth Johnson, which he didn't go on to do much directing-wise, which I know in 1997 he directed that abysmal superhero movie, Steel, with Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah, Steel, with Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, this guy before this, he directed Short Circuit 2, which was fun and entertaining. He would later go on to direct that piece of shit superhero movie with Shaquille O'Neal. It's Hammer time. Really? He's directed more TV stuff. I think he's directed more TV stuff, But Kenneth Johnson, really? He goes to direct Steel after this? Jeez. Definitely, I think that's what killed his career. But yeah. But here he did a good job with this movie. And the film is a bit longer than the first film, but I thought it was still well paced. As for the supporting cast, Michael McKean, Mr. Green from Clue, and many other movies. I enjoy Michael McKean. Even my dad, he enjoys Michael McKean as an actor. I know he likes him when he did that show, that food show. What was that? Food, Fact or Fiction. So, but me and my dad, we both enjoy Michael McKean. And he also did a good job in this film too, which he becomes like a business partners with he plays Fred. And he becomes business partners with Ben Fisher Stevens, and At one point, he did try to sell out Johnny Five because he was worth a lot of money. But at the end of the day, towards the end of the movie, he does develop more of a bond with Johnny Five. I mean, he's not evil like I said with Steve Guttenberg though. He's just he just wanted to try and make a quick buck, but then he realized that Johnny is also alive. Johnny Five is also alive too. So I'm willing to forgive the character for that because he does feel sorry and he does knows that he's a living being as well. So Michael McKean, he did a good job as the character Fred. And you have Cynthia Gibb, who plays Sandy, who's a girl who works for this toy company, which eventually Ben comes to really likes. She did a good job. I thought she did fine as well. Jack Weston, who plays basically our villain Oscar, which you actually have more villains in this movie than the first one because I didn't consider the Nova Corps. I was probably referencing from Guardians of the Galaxy, the Nova Corps. No, but the Nova Robotics, Nova. I didn't consider them as real villains. I didn't consider that. Here you got more real villains because of what they do to Johnny Five, which makes it more sad. So. And Tim Blaney, who comes back to voice Johnny Five, he did a really wonderful job voicing Johnny Five. And the effects of Johnny Five still top notch as the robotic effects of the robot as well. Really, really well done effects still. And Charlie Fox does the score instead of David Shire, but the score was fine still. I thought it was pretty good still. And also, I thought it was still well written once again by S.S. Wilson and Brent Maddock. And the film that takes place in the city, which I thought was also a good choice of location to put Johnny Five because it opens up with Ben, who's selling his little small toys of Johnny Five, which I got to admit I would like to have one of those toys. I really would. I really would like to have one of those toys. But and then Sandy meets him. He wants to if you want to have some of your toys and even Michael McKean, even who was selling Rolex watches, throws himself into working with Ben, and we'll sell them 50 a piece, and we'll have 1,000 of them. So he wants to have them done by this deadline. So they go in business together, get a small vacant place to help, and then Johnny arrives in this box with a letter from Stephanie, Ali Sheedy from the first movie, and you get Ali Sheedy's voice when Ben reads the letter. Ali Sheedy does throw her voice in there to read that letter, so it was good to be in continuity. And they also mention Crosby. Steve Guttenberg's character, and Nova Robotics, so it is still within continuity. So it was cool to hear Ali Sheedy's voice in that letter, and Johnny, he doesn't know he's in the city, so Ben wants him to stay in there because if he does, he's going to see all the stuff he's done, all the input he's going to want. Which does what happened because he goes on the big city. He's learning all the input he wants, like with this gang who's trying to rip off cars, and they're saying, we kick your what was the line they said? It was kind of funny because he ends up repeating it as well. So we kick your face. So we kick your face, we kick your balls to outer space, like this, like that, And like I said, he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what they're doing though, because he doesn't fully understand what humans do, whether good or bad people. So he doesn't fully understand, so he inadvertently helps them steal all these stereos from other cars. And even Ben's trying to tell him some people are like that, They can, plus, Johnny, like I said, he's gullible, he doesn't understand, but it's understandable at the same time because he doesn't know any better. And that's the thing, you get more of this emotional stuff with Johnny because, he's gullible, he inadvertently does help, which later on with our main villain. But you guys also some of the drama, emotional stuff because like people are treating him differently. Like they see a machine, but they don't. Even though he says he's alive and all that stuff, though, but they see him as a machine. They're treating him differently. Like he's not a person, which we're saying that he is like a person. He's an outsider basically. He's an outsider. So that's what I'm trying to get to. He's not being treated like a human. But there's the point where he gets in trouble with the police as well, and he said he's really sad, and that's why I think I get more. Johnny Five was much more developed than he did in the first one, but he's learning more the emotion and being treated like a outcast. And back with Ben, he likes the character. Fisher Stevens. He likes Cynthia Gibb, and even Johnny gives him some advice to help talk, even when they're going on a date. Or before that, I forgot to mention there was when Johnny Five is in the bookstore. He's learning all these books, and he takes two of them. One was Frankenstein and Pinocchio. And then one point where Michael McKean, he tries to sell Johnny Five, which these people had heard of Nova. They mentioned Steve Guttenberg's character, and then he ends up falling out the window. But he comes with a hang glider, and and people are treating him. He gets his feelings are hurt. He wants to fit in like with the human people, but all they look at him as a machine. So, and that's the thing that it makes me feel. You've grown more, feels more sorry for Johnny Five. You're growing attached to him, like I have. And then we're back with our villains. There's this old guy Oscar, and he has his two henchmen. They wanted to, because the old guy, he wants to get these really expensive jewels, and he has this underground tunnel. And the two guys, they want to try to force Fisher Stevens and Michael McKean out. And then, like Johnny Five, at one point he gets his glowing, angry eyes. He throws them out. Then one point when they come back, they set a trap, like kicks them out. And then with Oscar, you think he's playing a friendly face, because he tries to be friendly with Johnny Five, but actually technically he's an asshole because he's using Johnny Five to help tunnel his way to the bank to steal the jewels, so for his own financial personal gain, and after we learn that he's stolen the jewels, stealing. And then you get this really sad yet emotional and powerful scene. I say it is powerful to me. Like, I got this more powerful scene much more than when I keep on harping on this about when E.T. dies. I got more emotional and powerful out of this when the bad guys, because the guy, the Oscar, he's speaking pigline, to get behind Johnny Five, and he doesn't understand this. They jump on him, and they start smashing him, breaking him apart. And he's like, no, Johnny Five alive, no! And he loses his arm, his eyes falling out, he's sparking up, and he's leaking battery fluid. Instantly, like, he's bleeding. He's actually bleeding, which does kind of look like red blood. So yeah, I was like, no, because I love Johnny Five, and it was such a very disheartening scene when they were just breaking him apart. See, I got more of that, and which at the point towards the end he does for the moment die, and we didn't want that. I got, like I said, as I've mentioned, I come to like Johnny. I like the character Johnny Five more I did with E.T. because of how the way aspects with the human bond, because he does also grow more a bond with Ben Fisher Stevens, and how the way he helps more he wants with Ben as well. And this is such a very sad scene, and I think it was a very. I think some people said that was some people. Others out there think that was also a very sad scene, which I agree with. If people are saying, I would agree with. And then Michael McKean finds him, and this is where he feels more sorry for Johnny Five, and he grows more a bond with him as well. He's helping Johnny fix him up, like with a shirt, like because at first he was complaining about this one shirt he likes wearing, but then he just tears it off to wrap around his wound that he's bleeding out of, and he's like, oh, to forget about it. So yeah, and it was a good thing where he was to him, putting his like his selfish things aside. It was more of a bond with Johnny Five, and he's helped fixing him up, and this is where with Johnny the first time he gets really angry. He gets really angry. He's like gearing his play, like gets like a mohawk. He's like getting like chains and and he wants to go out and get revenge to catch these guys. And he do what he does. He goes after them like him. Michael McKean hots on him to chase after them, and eventually make their car flip. And he takes out the two henchmen. And then he goes after Oscar, and that's where you get the song "Holding Out for a Hero" by Bonnie Tyler, from the soundtrack of Footloose. And which, of course, you also heard that song, which there was a reenactment in Shrek 2. Then the song was in the trailer theme for Pokemon Detective Pikachu. I really enjoyed it. I just enjoy that song as well. So it was cool that they have that during when Johnny's going after Oscar. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. He's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast and he's gotta be fresh from the fight. Yeah. So it was a fun chase scene where with that song playing and he's going after Oscar. Then he's like, Oscar, you will not get away. I am really pissed off. So Johnny Five. First thing he's learning and stuff, and then you see him express anger. He's saying, "I'm really pissed off." He catches Oscar, and just for seconds, then he dies. Saying goodbye to Ben, and it was another sad moment. And then, but when Ben he takes the defibrillator, charges him up again, and he brings him back to life. He brought him back to life because he's electric, and with a defibrillator, not by saying, "Oh, Johnny, I love you, Johnny," not like from E.T. that gets brought back from the power of love. No, but he just brings him back from the defibrillator. He just charges it back up, and he comes back to life, and he still retains his memory, and then there's a happy ending where Ben, Sandy, and Fred, they have their own company. Like it was an Input Inc. Yeah, they're making the big bucks now. And Ben and also Johnny Five, they have swear they're now citizens now of the United States. Even Johnny Five receives the first robotic citizen, and he's all plated up in gold and then they're asking him, like, how do you feel? And he says, I feel alive. So yeah, I get the whole thing. It's understandable now. But it's understandable what he, being marked as a citizen, because he's now a machine. He's now like a person, like I said. But I know you could probably say it's cheesy how the way that ending is, though, but I'll give leeway, though, because I like Johnny Five. No, he's now his own person, a citizen. I do understand that, though, but I could buy why if people say that ending is cheesy. I don't like that. I hardly ever use that word, though. But in this case, but at the same time, I give leeway because I enjoy Johnny Five and I like Ben, and he's with Sandy, and still partners with Michael McKean. And really enough, I said before they wanted to make a third sequel, but a remake, which that's not needed. Well, thank God they did not make that remake. But there was also like a short educational film called Hot Cars, Cold Facts in 1990, and it does star Johnny Five, although this time he's voiced by Russell Turner, not Tim Blaney. So and it does take place after Short Circuit 2. So technically speaking, this short educational film is kind of technically Short Circuit 3, basically. I have to give that a watch sometime, I guess. But yeah, I did not know that, though. So technically, there is a Short Circuit 3, and it's a short educational film. And Johnny Five is the star of it. It does take place after the second film. So yeah, I enjoyed Short Circuit 2. I think it's a really good sequel. And Johnny Five, he's much more developed, and you really say he's developed more. You felt more feelings, and you feel sorry for him because he's learning all this stuff, and emotionally how he's being treated, and all he does to develop the bond with Michael McKean, and more with Ben. Him learning all what humans do and misunderstanding them, and gets and when he has his own feelings getting hurt, and you just feel sorry for Johnny Five. Definitely, when it was heartbreaking, disheartening when you see him just being broken apart by the bad guys. It was really sad to see that. It was like more. I felt more for Johnny more than I did with E.T. I know at least I keep on bringing that up, but to me, that's why I see it. And you see him, and then we see him getting angry, getting revenge on the bad guys, and especially when we get like the song "Holding Out for a Hero" playing. It just really made me enjoy the film. Like I said, Fisher Stevens, his character is much more developed than he did in the first film. I thought he did a good job playing Ben. Michael McKean, I enjoyed. Tim Blaney, once again, wonderful as Johnny Five. Jack Weston, who as the villain Oscar, I thought he did good as well. Cynthia Gibb as Sandy, I thought she was good too. Her trying to more between her and Ben, I enjoy, especially when they're on the date and when Johnny is like trying to input stuff for Ben to say to Sandy, like on this electric billboard, and he's trying to input for him to say to Sandy, he's trying to help him say the right things. And I don't know what to say. The score I thought was good by Charlie Fox. Once again, the effects were I thought was once again good with Johnny Five as well. Like I said before, it was done today, completely 100% CGI, definitely. And Kenneth Johnson, he would later go on to direct Steel after directing a fun, entertaining film like this film, which I also probably put underrated because not people like to talk about the sequel, and critics say it's worse than the first film, except for Roger Ebert. But I would definitely say this is an underrated sequel. Definitely, I would say that. Definitely put it as underrated. It does have a making featurette. Actually, it does have that. But yeah, I enjoy Short Circuit 2. I thought it was a very fun, entertaining sequel. I thought why I say I enjoy the film more than the first film because of more with Johnny Five, how he's going through emotionally, how he's being treated, and I'm not fully understanding about what humans are doing, but he learns from his mistakes afterwards. And more of the cast I enjoyed, like Michael McKean, and especially also Fisher Stevens. And like I said, with Michael McKean, he does more of the end, develop more of a bond with Johnny Five, like especially when he's trying to fix him up, trying to repair him. And when Johnny Five's time's running out because he's bleeding out. So, yeah, I really enjoy Short Circuit 2. I thought it was a very fun sequel. Like I said, I like the character. I said before, I know it's my opinion, but I think I enjoy the character I got more of than E.T. I did. Just saying out there, but in my opinion though. But anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope if you like the first Short Circuit and the sequel as well, good for you. I enjoyed both films though, so regardless. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next movie review. Later.